Hey folks, welcome back to Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. We're here in Majula. Majula is, as I said in the last episode, a hub area for this game. Talk a little bit about the world layout, probably in this episode, once we talk to some NPCs a bit. But first, I want to go around and grab those items. First off, another divine blessing. Second off, if we want to get that item, we can either go around, or we can drop off here. Now, there's an item hidden there. Don't think I didn't see you. So the Morning Star, why don't we take a quick look here. The Morning Star is a hammer, a strike weapon. It is a club with a bunch of spikes on it. It's normally wielded by clerics, but clearly intended to draw blood. So either clerics are dangerous, or they just needed protection. And then there's also binoculars. Binoculars, used as a weapon in this game, or at least equipped like one. They zoom in, you can see stuff that's far away. It's neat, it's cool, it's fun. But having them equipped all the time can make it annoying if you're switching between a bunch of weapons. So I'm equipping the Morning Star here, but you'll note that there's a little X on the icon there. See that on the left side of the screen? I don't actually have the strength to wield this thing properly unless I use two hands. However, it's still very useful to have, for reasons that I'll explain in a couple episodes once we reach enemies that are not fans of this. But anyway, back to dual wielding. There are a fair number of NPCs here in Majula for us to talk to, and a lot of them have a lot to say. And frankly, I do not have the patience, and I suspect you don't have the patience to listen to everything that all these NPCs have to say. So I'm gonna give you the basics.
Are you the next monarch, or merely a pawn of fate? Bearer of the curse, I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters. Take this with you. May it ease your journey.
An Estus Flask, an undead favorite.
Go on and see the king. He who made Drangleic what it once was. He who peered at the essence of the soul. King Vendrick.
So there we have a basic mission. Go find King Vendrick. Why should we go find King Vendrick? We can sort of piece it together. So we came to Drangleic in hopes of curing the undead curse and healing our ailing mind through the use of souls. According to the Emerald Herald here, King Vendrick peered into the essence of the soul, and therefore is a resource possibly into what souls are all about, and maybe we could use his knowledge to help cure the curse. She doesn't really explain that part.
Bearer of the curse, seek misery. For misery will lead you to greater, stronger souls. You will never meet the king with a soul so frail and pallid.
Rude.
Seek those whose names are unutterable. The four endowed with immense souls. Their souls will serve as beacons. Once you have found them, return here to me, so that hope will not fade away.
So there's our intermediate mission. In order to reach King Vendrick, we need to get 4 super strong souls. Otherwise, we will not be able to make the way. And that might sound familiar to people who played Dark Souls 1. So, in the last third or so of Dark Souls 1, you were tasked with getting 4 souls to fill up the Lord Vessel, so you can make your way to a certain king. Now, we start the game, and we need to go find the king, but first we need to get 4 large souls. So, kind of aping its own structure there.
Bearer of the curse. Seek souls. Larger, more powerful souls. Seek the king. That is the only way. Lest this land swallow you whole, as it has so many others.
Alright, so the Emerald Herald is how we level up in this game. In Dark Souls 1, it was the bonfire, but here we have an Emerald Herald, a woman, which is actually more traditional for the Souls series. This is how it was done in Demon Souls, and it's how it's done in Bloodborne and in Dark Souls 3. So really, Dark Souls 1 is the odd one out, strangely enough. So let's level up, take a quick look at how stats work. There are a couple new additions here, but I'll go over all of them just as a quick recap. Vigor is health. Endurance, a little bit different from how it was in Dark Souls 1. Now, it's just how much stamina you have. Previously, it was stamina and equip load. Equip load is now governed by vitality, separate stat altogether. Attunement is how many spells you can equip and your cast speed. Strength is the strength of certain weapons and whether or not you can equip them. Dex is the strength of certain weapons and whether or not you can equip them. Adaptability is a whole thing. I'll get to that in a sec. Intelligence is used for certain spells. Faith is used for certain other spells. Some spells use both. Some spells use neither. But adaptability, this is a new addition for Dark Souls 2, and it's one of the experiments that Dark Souls 2 had that didn't really pan out. Adaptability increases resistances to curse, poison, bleed, petrify, but also, much more importantly, agility. Now, agility is basically how many invincibility frames you have on your rolls, and more is better. You want to be invincible for more of your roll. If you want your roll to feel good, if you want it to be as useful as it was in Dark Souls 1 and every other Souls game, basically, you are going to need to increase adaptability quite a bit. Adaptability is usually my top priority. Now, I didn't actually get any more agility from that one level up. I'm going to need to get some more souls for second level up soon. I have some loose souls, but I'm not going to use them right now. Or some item souls, rather. So let's hear what else the Emerald Herald has to say.
Over the hill and past the forest is the king's castle, where a man peered straight into the essence of the soul. But whatever came of it?
So that, I believe, is the castle way over there. That big, tall, dark, ominous thing. That is not the castle. That's something else.
Those who come to Dranglake seeking salvation soon lose hope and turn hollow. It happens to them all, sooner or later. That blue knight at the base of the tower, his spirit is already broken. Although he does offer sound advice. Perhaps he is a foreshadowing of your own future.
Rude.
That tiny thing inside the ruins. An ancient being that will mock your very existence. She imparts sound wisdom. Provided you find her on a good day.
So here the Emerald Herald is pointing us towards a couple of NPCs in the area who can help guide us further.
The sign you bear will drain your very souls. And without souls, you will turn hollow. Stay strong. Do not lose hope. Even when you have precious little time. For when the undead dies, it is never truly dead, but only one step closer to hollowing. Not all undead are hollows, but all hollows were once undead. If you find an Estus shard, bring it to me, so that I may ease your burden.
Good thing to know.
Over the hill.
Alright. So, let's briefly check in with the knight at the base of the tower here. This is the Crestfallen Knight, a bit of a Souls tradition. Good place for a bloodstain, by the way. He's the kind of guy who's given up on his adventure and has just resigned himself to his fate.
You're undead, aren't you? You have that distinct scent, the smell of irreversible fate. This is Majula. It is a kind of settlement, a place where life is almost normal. And in Drang Lake these days, there are very few places like that.
Can't get him in focus. Yeah.
I am Solden. And like you, I lost everything. And now I'm here. You probably heard that it was possible to break the curse here. Well, that's not true at all.
Not with that attitude.
There's nothing here for you, me, or anybody. Do you know much about souls? Even I'm not certain, but I'm told that the soul is the essence of life itself. Anything living, sentient or no, supposedly has one. What we call the curse is traceable to the soul. Do you see what that means? To be alive, to walk this earth. That's the real curse, right there. We undead will never die. And that's quite a predicament, really.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bummer.
There are 4 beings in this land with giant souls. And wherever you go from here, you'll sooner or later come up against them. Each has a powerful soul and a terrible curse. If that frightens you, then you ought to just give up right now, like I have. Do you ever cry out for help? The journey of an undead is long and treacherous. You'll face invaders from other worlds at every turn. If you need help, why not proclaim faith in the Blue Sentinels? When you face danger, the Blue Sentinels will come to your aid. Protection is yours, if you wish. You need only accept their kind embrace.
So, the Covenant system, it's a whole thing. Every Covenant kind of works differently. In the Way of Blue, if you join the Way of Blue and equip their ring, if you are invaded by another player, someone who is in another Covenant, the Blue Sentinels can be summoned to help you out. Barely ever happens.
That is a wise decision. People are weak, but the Blue Sentinels watch over us in their benevolence. Let the Sentinels cradle you in their embrace.
Alright, so I'm going to stop talking to this guy. If we continue talking to him, he would give us advice about where we can go, including to that place over there, and that place over there. and down in a hole in the middle of town. But he takes a long time to say things. This is how many people have died. Or how many deaths have occurred, I should say, on the PC Scholar of the First Sin edition of the game. Over 181 million. It's a lot of deaths. Okay. So real quick, I am going to equip, actually, the blue seal, because it does increase HP slightly. The way of blue is not a developed religion. It is a humble prayer that spread naturally amongst those seeking help. When apostles of blue are invaded by dark spirits, they can receive assistance from masters of other worlds. See, I got a little extra HP from that. Probably not going to make a difference, but I like it. Hello, fellow.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just help me open this door. I packed my tools in here, seeing it was vacant. But now somebody's gone and locked the door. I'm a blacksmith. I'm nothing without my tools. Bring me that key. Chop chop.
Very pushy. So yeah, this is a blacksmith. Once we get a key to open this door, he will be able to upgrade materials or upgrade weapons and sell us some materials. You can also climb in the window, just saying. Luckily, he doesn't have much to say. Otherwise, we would be here all day. Grab an item here, and let's see. Okay, sometimes the NPC who's in this building here can spawn in a couple different places, and if they're right up against the wall, you can talk to them through the wall. It's pretty nifty. Where are you? Hi there.
Oh, undead are we? And one without much time remaining. Just about ready to fall apart, I'd say.
Rude.
Not exactly the time to be chatting with a cat. Well, suit yourself. Oh yes, you may call me Shalqua. Enchanté. So, what did you want anyway? Ooh, you smell wonderful.
Alright, sweet Shalqua. Lets you look at your progress in different covenants. Each covenant lets you rank up, and here you can see them conveniently all in one place. You can also buy some items from her, including rings, some of which are actually useful. And Homeward Bones, Prism Stones, Alluring Skulls, and Lloyd's Talismans. I don't need any of these right now. We're gonna get some Homeward Bones for free real quick, so I'm not gonna bother there.
This place is already dead. Everything will crumble and waste away so that something new may be born. Isn't it wonderful? This place is fascinating. We receive only the most peculiar visitors. Folk like yourself. It's enough to keep even a cat amused. Are you going to see the old ones? Those four who have grown so incredibly ancient. They must have sprouted quite a thick coat of moss by now. For heaven's sake, no one even knows their names anymore. Imagine that. Yes, nothing like yourself. For you have a most pleasant scent that grows nicer with each passing day.
Alright, that's about all I wanted to hear from her.
Nothing suited you, I presume? Well, that's dismaying.
So she also tells you about the old ones, the 4 big bosses that you need to fight before you go to Vendrick. So that's 3 different NPCs telling you what your immediate task is, which is to get the souls from the old ones, from the 4 old ones. Whichever direction you go from Majula, you'll find one of them eventually. I also like that she makes a comment about nobody remembering the names of the old ones anymore. It adds in kind of this separate idea of how other people understand your identity and their memory of you. How does that constitute your... That shadow looks weird, sorry. Yeah, it complicates the whole memory and identity thing by bringing other people into the mix. Here's the free homeward bones that I mentioned. And here is another covenant. So, I believe Shalquar would tell you about this, but basically this is how you enter hard mode. If you enter the Covenant of Champions, as it's called, enemies will get stronger, they'll take more hits, they might deal more damage, I don't know. And a lot of people stumble into it by accident, even though it requires 3 separate confirmations, I believe, in order to actually join. A lot of people stumble into hard mode. It also has one additional effect that I actually like quite a bit, but I don't want to go on that whole tangent just now. Here's a rock. And here's an Estus Flask shard. You remember the Emerald Herald told us about those? We should deliver those. There's some pigs over there. They're dangerous. Don't mess with them. Not even joking. Alright, one more NPC. One more. Bear with me.
Hello there. Welcome to my shop. I'm Morlin, and I sell armor. Oh, sorry, Please do have a look at my wares. I could really use the business. If you'd be so kind.
So, Malin sells shields, and he sells armor. All of that is a little expensive right now. You can get a level up for less than some of the costs of these things. But if you're really into fashion souls, might be worth it. If you do want to see the entirety of his quest line, and he does have a quest line, you do need to buy a fair amount from him, though.
I came from the west, from Volgan. Have you been there? It's a lively place, vibrant with trade. Very competitive, of course. And you have to grease the wheels to get anywhere. But I didn't have the funding for that, so I left home in hopes of striking gold. It's been years since then, and I've made very little headway. I don't even know why I'm still here. Everything's all run down and dying. It's terrible for business, really. A group calling themselves the Blue Sentinels have gained much power in Volgan.
I've heard of those.
You can't even run a shop without their blessing. They claim to be working for the greater good, but it's absolute hogwash.
So now we have a separate perspective on the Blue Sentinels. You know, Salden was like, oh yeah, they're great, they're kind, they'll help you out if you're in a jam. According to Malin, they're kind of like the mob.
By the gods, why the hell am I here? Well, I do hope I see you again.
Alright. So, real quick, let's climb up this ladder, which I totally missed my first couple times through the game. And grab a Titanite shard. Once we can start upgrading, that will be a useful thing for us. Alright, so, real quick, let's run back over to the Emerald Herald and give her this Estus Flask shard. I haven't talked much about Estus. It's a form of healing, like life gems, and I will compare and contrast those once they are relevant.
Seek souls.
Yeah, no, I'm not going through that. Alright, so now we started with one Estus flask. I didn't show it because I didn't equip it immediately. But now we have 2. Unlike Dark Souls 1, where you started with 5, and then you could do kindling to get up to 20 under certain circumstances. Now, you start with 1, and you gain 1 more for every flask shard that you give to the Emerald Herald. Bonfires have nothing to do with it. Anyway, that wraps up everything I wanted to do in Majula for now. So, next time we are going to head over that-a-way, through the forest into the fort. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.